So we had an unhinged chief of department, John Chell, who I understand is a little inebriated at times while working, but we'll leave it at that. John Chell came out and posted some things attacking John McCarry, Eric Dim, but started on me. And at an article that I had reposted that stated that he took money from Dr. Phil for his appearances, his expenses, he turns around and then writes online, hashtag you're fired. Of course, John, it's you're fired with an E. He wrote that on there. And then I filed an internal affairs complaint on John Chell because now he will be thrown into the litigation, Eric. I don't know if you want to explain this and how we're going to move forward with that and what's going on with my entire case here.
Yeah, I don't want to tip the hand as far as what I think I'm going to do about that problem because we kind of already discussed it. But I want to say it from the police department's point of view as a person who is a law enforcement. You know, back when I was still on, it was frowned upon to do a lot of things you see people doing today. Social media, all this self-promotion stuff was frowned upon. Now it's just the norm. You know, executives say all kinds of off-the-wall stuff. They have like no control over people. I mean, I don't understand. He should be embarrassed for himself, but the mayor should be embarrassed for him. The police commissioner should be embarrassed for him. I don't understand why this guy's even still around. He's an embarrassment. That is not the definition of executive. You look up at executives, they're different people. They're supposed to project this great image. And this guy's like a clown. He's a clown. And I don't understand him. And he's got the nerve to interact with a person who has a pending civil rights case right now against the city of New York. And they're going to get him dragged himself into this case or drag the city into another case. I mean, I don't understand that.
You know what, Eric? To make matters worse, technically, when he goes after John McCarry, John himself has his own civil rights case against the city. So technically, he's attacking two people. There he is, asleep behind the soccer mom at a committee hearing. Apparently, that doesn't get you terminated either. But if a cop is looking, has white socks,
assuming he's asleep, he's inattentive. Why he's that way is another story. He could be sick. He could be asleep. He could be intoxicated. Who the hell knows, right?
Yeah.
But we know one thing, in our days, that was frowned upon.
Oh, yeah.
You take a hit for that one, especially, he's an executive too, at a city council meeting. No respect for the process. This is why the police department's become a clown outfit. It's sad to say that too, because like I said, I would go back to the police department now. It was a fun job to me, but these guys did so much damage. This is going to take 30, 40, 50 years to try to repair this garbage. It's just ridiculous.
Easy. But I guess now, and so addressing the John Chell part, which, by the way, I want to throw out there, he's also being investigated for taking a security detail. But now, I don't know if he's off duty or not, but he's at a golf course with Kaz Daughtry. John Chell is pictured with President Donald Trump. Now, the last time I checked, whether people like to hear this or not, Donald Trump is a convicted felon. So if he's around someone who's reasonably believed to have engaged in or likely to have engaged in criminal activity, why is he not being treated the way Sal Greco was treated for associating with Trump's friend, Roger Stone? Isn't that interesting? That's a very interesting picture. I didn't know that you could associate with people that are convicted felons as long as you're executive.
And that's why the disciplinary system is bullshit. It's just weaponized against people. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with fairness. I mean, just looking at just your case, just talking about a little bit about it, that's why I'm hoping the court is going to let us get to Sewell, because she's going to have to answer a serious question. Because assuming there was a violation sustained, even though the investigators couldn't even tell us what knowingly means, and they certainly couldn't tell us what a criminal association means. And then if there's pictures of people, depends on the context. But when it came to Sal Greco, it's obvious this is criminal association. It violates the rules. But even their matrix says that it was a 30-day penalty. So how did Sal Greco get terminated? She made up an arbitrary decision because it's not written anywhere. What was the factor that enhanced the penalty? It's a farce. The whole system is a farce. But all too often the courts has given deference to the police department. Oh, the paramilitary. No, it's not. It's a clown outfit. It's only paramilitary in some parts. In most parts, it's a clown outfit. It's sad to say it, but it's the truth. And I love the police department. This is why I'm so critical of it. If I didn't love it, I would never deal with it. I would completely disassociate myself from it. But the people who complain about it, because we point out these things, oh, you're against the job. No, we're for the job. We're trying to get the clowns out. Although it's like pushing sand on the beach, but we keep trying anyway because we're optimists. I don't know why, but we are optimists.
Yeah, listen, I think in this case, I don't know where Eric Adams, the way I'm being led to believe it is Adams himself who's holding up the court. He's got personal thing against you and I, from what I've been told. That's why this case, and they've stalled at every single corner with this case. They've stalled. We should have even deposed Sewell a long time ago, and that in itself is what's being litigated right now in front of judges. The fact that part is not. We're supposed to have Sewell. Who now the number one question, Eric, with Sewell is going to be after the Tom Donlin bombshell lawsuit and the other executives that are involved. And irrespective of, I know how people feel about them personally. Forget the feelings. What they allege in there. Tom Donlin saying there's rubber stamping of things. He's not even around. They're rubber stamping transfers, terminations, promotions. So how long did this occur? And did it occur under Sewell, who apparently stamped her name on my termination? And then on people like Kaz Daughtry, someone else stamped their name on his violation.
Yeah, Pintos. Mm-hmm.
Pintos signed that. So I don't know how any of this works. It's very important that people keep an eye on this because remember, we just exposed a whole thing with the medical division, candidate assessment division. They've, for decades, let people who are not doctors or psychologists evaluate people, and they make arbitrary decisions. Just like you could be pictured with someone where someone who's a high-end executive is pictured with the same person or someone in the same orbit, same argument, convicted felon. He's not disciplined. The other one is terminated. How does this work? It's a supposed to be equal opportunity job. This isn't like you're working at McDonald's. So I don't understand how taxpayers aren't infuriated over this. This should be things that are election issues. Again, this is all occurring under one man. So far, all this stuff coming out. Eric Adams was taking the brunt of this, whether he deserves it or not. He wasn't around or not. But the answer clearly, in my opinion, it's the election of the mayor of New York City is anybody but Eric Adams, who I heard Corey Pegues the other day say on Finest Unfiltered. I mean, look at this guy, Eric. This guy pled guilty. His life is ruined. Muhammad Bahi, yet Eric is walking around free. And that's the repercussions of letting him off his case the way that happened. Even though Bo is now a judge because of that. Yet this man's life is ruined. And he's taken a light sentence, but Eric, he's still a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon for life. And this guy who's, I don't know, there's even more stuff that came out with Eric in regards of that Project Veritas thing that involves Bill Barr, Armstrong Williams, who's someone I know, Eric, the Turkish thing, Qatar government, which would factor in the Eddie Caban visit to Qatar, and then the whole January 6th thing, which also featured me and Roger and Trump, and it all feels connected. But yet I know anybody but Eric Adams for mayor. That's really the answer in New York City.
That's actually pretty funny. It's sad because, I remember when I saw him coming up, we came up around the same time. And the bottom line is he went one way, I went another way. James Davis was going on that same. And of course, James Davis was killed in City Hall. So these guys all came up around the same time. And, and in a lot of ways, I wish we actually could have worked better together because we could have got a lot of things accomplished. But, petty things, just petty. I'm not a petty guy. I work with everyone. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I could tell from this case, the only person I could tell who clearly petty, that's Eric Adams. Petty. Remember the words used behind the scenes, Eric, is I'm going to starve Sal Greco out. That is from Eric Adams' mouth to some of those cronies he thinks are his friends, roaming around with him, partying with him with Jimmy Rodriguez. He thinks those people are his friends.
But see, the problem is because they're assuming I'm like every other attorney. Their problem is, and my problem is, I'm pretty loyal. Not a pretty loyal, I'm a loyal person. So if I take you on as a client, believe me, I'm going to go to the bitter end. Good, bad, or indifferent. So believe me, that won't work.
Yeah, and remember that in my case and many cases that you have represent many that also stand behind, meaning they have their own cases, things can move forward. They have, if this falls, they could also have a case. So it matters, and that you take cases that are groundbreaking that'll change the system. This clearly is a beyond an injustice, and the way this is unfolded with me, seriously, Eric Adams is to look at himself in the mirror. He actually had a chance to do the right thing here, but he just went along with everyone else, with all his other cronies telling him, "Oh, we got to save face here because it was in the Daily News." And look how that worked out. Whose words were right? Eric Adams saying the Daily News, Sal Greco made the Daily News, so I can't do anything about this, or my word back to them.
Wait, you see the comment that's up? You see the comment that's up?
Adams was Nighthawk. Adams was always a hater of Eric Sanders. He tried to follow Sanders' blueprint, but just the problem was it was straight shooter and one wasn't. He's saying
they always knew I was honest. See, that's the problem. I was very straight shooter. You can't buy me. You can't sell me on anything. Nope. I'm not going to be dead. You're not going to do that to me.
We all know Eric Adams loves to be, you could sell him on anything, especially if you're from a foreign government. Tom Joyce chimed in here, so he said something. He said,
"Cheetos and a shorty."
Tom Joyce says, "Truth, Mr. Sanders, we care because we love it so much, and my little leaguers are now cops, detectives, and sergeants now. We all do. That's the point. We're doing this because we care. If we didn't care, I'd just stay quiet. And what? Nothing would change. Everything you're seeing is Finest Unfiltered. All these people involved here, that's why everything is changing. Everything's happened for a reason. And actually, thanks to Eric Adams, everybody came together. So he actually did something good. He almost kind of created what's going on today with myself, with Eric Dim, John McCarry, Marlon Bethel, all people that he discarded, right? We don't discard people. I didn't even get to another thing, Juanita Holmes.
That's right. Don't discard people, right?
Don't discard people. Remember that one? Juanita Holmes at the police academy. She let Cardi B run around. We don't discard people, Eric Adams. You clearly discard people. You've discarded so many people, I've lost count. And you let the cronies run the asylum, just like you said today. It's a clown outfit. It's an abuse, and this is a special Hagen. We are seeing an abuse of power, corruption, and unrivaled incompetence under this administration.